Oh my gosh, we're live. Mike, you're not centered. Mike, center yourself.
I'm just not centered. I mean, just that's the way I am.
All
There,
right,
is that better?
Mike. Now the room from here to here is called headroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much headroom. Bring your camera down. See,
Look,
we're teaching everybody. Oh, look, see, and you can
I
move
spend
yourself
my day
forward.
talking at a laptop, man. Come on.
I know, but that doesn't mean you do it well. Just because somebody does something, Mike, doesn't mean they do it well.
Okay.
It's your lesson for the day.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, somebody's impersonating me on LinkedIn. Overnight, overnight, I started getting all these things of people who wanted to connect with me to my work account. My LinkedIn account is not connected to my work account, and then I looked, and somebody has pretended to be me. It's I didn't know that was worthwhile. But anyway, for anybody watching, if I send you a message saying that I'm a Nigerian prince, or I need some Toys R Us gift cards, or I don't know, what other scams could I use on people? If I send you a link and say, I saw you doing this in a video, don't click that link.
Or you want to invest in the company.
That might be real. No, wait.
Okay, I'm still looking for that guy.
All right. So here's the part where I double check and make sure this is actually streaming, and then we'll jump into things here. Oh boy, is it working? Yep, it looks like it's working. All right, Mike. So multiple states have locked down now, including Washington State, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Vaccine, however, might be available. One of the articles I said is end of November is when they're going to start shipping. For frontline healthcare workers. And it's almost Thanksgiving. That's good stuff, right?
Well, I mean, it's going as well as it could, I guess, given everything that's happened. We owe a lot to health workers and all the people that have had to be in direct contact with people that are ill and, frankly, often enraged that a hoax has made them so sick. In fact, it's been reported that the next big disinformation campaign is going to be all about the vaccine. And I can't wait to see how the messages that I get tell me that it's all being funded by George Soros and Bill Gates, because that for sure is going to happen. I hate to see where this is going to land. I've said before, 30% of the population is so willing to believe the things that confirm their strongly held beliefs, and they respond so badly to the cognitive dissonance that comes from exposure to contradicting evidence that our jobs become more difficult.
So how does that make our jobs more difficult?
Thought we talked about this, maybe we didn't, but so for example, right, the security awareness training we do for free on Fridays, we're trying to get people to avoid all the bait that comes in all the time through all the messaging mechanisms we use. And we know it's going to be hard to get through to that 30%. We're trying to tell them, avoid these things that sound too good to be true, because they're probably not. And it's really tough to get people to believe that when there's other things that they want to believe.
Whew. Yeah, great. All right. Well, let's move to the cyber news then. Looks like election happened. Democracy survived.
For the most part. Right. So most secure election in American history. And then Chris Krebs was fired specifically for saying that. If we had an outrage of the week section, that would be the lead right there. The wild thing, this kills me, is that no one is surprised. This is just the behavior we have come to expect. It's a little hyperbolic to say that the country is less secure as a result, but everyone considers Chris Krebs to be one of the most competent and effective public servants, and he really does get a lot of the credit for the security of the election and the fact that, we didn't have the 2016 problems.
Yeah. Hey, and just a reminder to folks, if you're on LinkedIn Live, there's a comment section over on the right. If you have a question for Mike, question for me, just kidding, question for Mike, put it in the chat there, and I'll ask Mike your question. What's that? So, yeah, do you need me to tell you again? Did you forget?
No,
Person. Yeah, repeat after me. Person. Never mind. So, any more counties get hit with ransomware during the count? I mean, we thought that might happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's just that one that we know about that's actually, has a touch point to an election. It's Chatham County in North Carolina. And there is another news story this week in a local paper there that's speculating on just that the attack may have been performed to sow doubt in the outcome of the election. I will note that only some states have been accused of all manner of things, but not those that went red. Apparently their elections were all fine. So had the election swung the other way in North Carolina, that county may have indeed been the object of a lot of attention, but we're done. So, I mean, to your comment, the lug nuts are loose, but the wheels are still on democracy.
So, I mean, it might be. So, I mean, basically what you're saying here is that the bad guys might have guessed wrong as to which state was going to be the one that decided the election. And maybe that it was just going to be one state, like back in 2000, where it was Florida.
Yeah,
is that possible?
It is. I think what's more possible is that there were a lot of counties where it was attempted, and because CISA, DHS, was in front of this, it just didn't work for most of them. That plus, all the information that was being shared with all the counties and some of the stuff that Microsoft was doing behind the scenes, with Defender ATP licenses being given to counties. I think that really had a lot to do with it too. But this is all speculation.
Well, yeah, but it's you speculating, so we care. All right. Okay. Before we got into election drama, we spent a lot of time talking about the health sector, getting hit with the Ryuk ransomware, which John Ricci at the AHA told me is pronounced Ryuk, but hey, I don't know. So what's going on?
Tomato.
Russian. Anyway, health sector. What's going on in the health sector, Mike?
So health sector, let's see. So yes, apart from the continuing efforts to prevent disruption for the purpose of extortion, you marketing people call that ransomware, cute name. Microsoft came out with a piece on their blog site calling out a group that they call Strontium, which is Russian, and Zinc and Cerium, which are North Korean. Okay, so these are APT groups, right? The majority of the targets of these characters are 7 companies working on vaccines that are in various stages of clinical trials, right? So now, honestly, if I was Russian, this might give me some pause, about taking the domestically produced vaccine. And I understand there's 2 Russian vaccines now. I mean, if those vaccines are already working, why go steal ours, right? So anyway, the focus of the piece was a really strong statement, right? This crap has to stop. And I don't know if that moves the needle with, strontium and cerium and zinc, but at least it's a stern finger shake from a global corporation. So maybe that means something. And by the way, again, Microsoft, thank you for naming APT groups for elements and not odd animals or arachnids.
And for those of you who don't know, Mike's favorite name of the year is the Wizard Spider Group. If you ever really want to get under Mike's skin, you can use Wizard Spider. And there's some other words you don't like. What's the other one?
Yeah, starting with cyber.
Cyber. Right. Which is why we're renaming this chat the Cyber Chat. Hey, you touched on nation state activity there. Any news of note there?
On what countries are doing to countries? Yeah, a really interesting thing happened this week. The U.S. placed sanctions on Russian Research Institute that they say developed the Triton malware. And the Triton malware, and people probably heard of this, it's considered to be the most dangerous threat to critical infrastructure, right? So the first place Triton was seen was a 2017 attack on a petrochemical facility. It's designed to identify and take control of safety settings in industrial control systems, right? SCADA. Supervisory control and data acquisition. Basically, it makes things blow up. And the United States has seen efforts to deploy this malware into 20 energy sector facilities in the U.S. domestically. So what's interesting here is they sanctioned an entire organization for this, and by association, any other organization that's at least 50% owned by that research institute. So wow. On the other hand, there is some speculation as to what caused some power outages in Russia that just happened to disable a Navy installation. That was back in 2018. And there were a couple of these episodes. I have no idea who could have been behind that, but I suspect we have defended forward at that point. But, we will never know. It's just, people are wondering who did this. And, I think it was a fingerprint-free job, so maybe we're never going to know. Maybe mutually assured infrastructure disruption will be enough to keep countries in their corners, but everything eventually jumps the fence and becomes a criminal tool. And in fact, that might be a prediction for the upcoming year, that industrial control system hacking is aided by nation-state tools that make it into the wild. Completely possible.
By the way, I don't actually believe in fingerprint-free jobs. I mean, haven't you ever watched a movie or a TV show? There are entire TV shows about this. And if it's on TV, it must be true, right?
Well, fingerprints are a metaphor here. Attribution, who did this stuff, doesn't include actual fingerprints.
Oh, that's funny. I thought when somebody, hacked into something, you could actually see their fingerprint. Is that not how it works, Mike?
If you hack into a bioauthentication system, maybe. Oh, the dude did that, uploaded his own fingerprint, remember?
Yeah, no, you're right. That did actually happen. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for really tearing apart my joke. By the way, I watched the Kevin Hart Netflix special this morning. He's funnier than you. So
get him on.
Hey, so that part of the year is coming up where everybody prognosticates about what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to support their own product sales. As the marketing guy, I wouldn't know anything about that, but
I've heard that.
Are you going to make any predictions, OC or Hamilton?
I think that was you telling me right there that yes, I am.
It was.
Actually, yeah, we're going to get together with some people and we're going to brainstorm in this tomorrow. Some of the stuff I've already read is pretty frightening. For example, attacks against the healthcare sector will triple. Wow. There were more reported attacks, episodes, events, incidents, whatever you want to call them, in the first half of 2020 than there were in all of 2019. And if stuff is going to triple next year, man, we're in trouble.
Doesn't sound like fun. Hey, so at the end of all of this, we do a kicker. And for the folks who haven't watched before, a kicker is that story at the end of the newscast. It's the funny story, the one that leaves you with a smile on your face. Mike doesn't always do that. He does not always leave you with a smile on your face. So let's challenge him. Mike, do you have a kicker today?
I have several. Let me pick this one. So now that the holiday season is upon us, and we turn to the time-honored tradition of American consumerism, it turns out we're now competing against scalper bots for popular gifts. Who could have predicted this? So these bots, when stuff goes on sale, they quickly buy up, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series 10, for example, and then sell them at 3 times the price and more on online auctions, eBay and stuff. So, it's the high frequency automated trading and market manipulation that we've come to love in equities markets, and is now applied to junk we buy for Christmas and Hanukkah.
Yay. Thanks for mentioning Hanukkah.
Sure.
You could have 8 of them. One for each night. Very, very exciting. My kids would love that. Funny story. So there was when I was a kid, I'm Jewish. One of the which you could probably tell from my last name or my first name. So when I was a kid, 8 days of Hanukkah, my parents gave me a remote control car and then batteries for the next 7 days.
Shrewd.
Yeah. Hey, I do want to tell everybody something here, which is tabletop exercises. This has been a terrible year to do training. You send everybody home, they come back, they go back home again. You're out of budget. Tabletop exercises cost tens of thousands of dollars. We're actually going to host a virtual tabletop exercise for free, and people should register for it. If you haven't had a chance to do one this year, if you haven't updated your IR plan, since a pandemic happened, you should absolutely come to this. Mike Simon, our CTO, is going to facilitate. He's done a bunch of these before, and he's really good at it. I'm putting a link in the chat here to a blog article we wrote. It has a link in there to the tabletop exercise. But share that. It'll be good. If it's not good, we'll hold it against Mike Simon there.
Mike's really good at this stuff. He is extremely experienced in these things.
Yeah, he's really good at it. All right. Thank you, everybody. We're probably not going to do this next Thursday. It occurs to me that there's a holiday that day.
I've heard that.
And I've heard that too. So have a great Thanksgiving. You don't be with your family. I don't know. It's a hard thing to say, but make a turkey by yourself, and have a good one. Bye, Mike.
Bye, Jake.